Good afternoon, everybody. Hello, welcome to Miss Hope's Reading Hour. I'm so glad to be with you all today on a fabulous FRI-YAY. Okay, it is a fabulous FRI-YAY. So glad to be here with you all. Oh, I'm sorry. Oops, there you go. How are you all? How has your week been? Okay. Hope you had a great week. Hope that you had some fun this week because of course school is about to start soon. So, you got to try to have some fun before school starts, right? I keep seeing all these pictures of people going to the beach. I have not gotten to go to the beach this year. And I love the beach. Like, I love the beach. I love the water. I like to just sit out on the sand. The only thing that I am not a fan of is the hot sand. Okay. The only way that you can get away from that is to wear water shoes. That's the only way, because flip flops, it ain't going to do it. It's just not going to do it. That heat on the sand, at least up here in New Jersey, on the Jersey Shore, whew, that sand can be really, really hot. So today is warm, but it's not as hot as it was. Aren't you happy about it? Because remember on Wednesday when I told you I went out to check on my plants and how extremely hot it was. I went out today to check on them and I said, oh, okay, this isn't bad. This is okay. This is all right. I'm like, I can handle this. Like, of course, I'm in here doing Miss Hope's Reading Hour with you all. And, I got to have some light. And I don't feel like I'm baking under these lights because it's so hot outside and I can't have my fan on because my fan's too loud. So all of that to say, to me, it is much cooler here in Philadelphia than it has been in the last few days. Okay. So I haven't had to water my plants though, because those storms helped me out. Miss Hope did not have to water anything. So I was happy about that. And I have 2 more cucumbers that I have to harvest. I just wanted to wait until Saturday, give them a little more time to grow, and then I will harvest them on Saturday or Sunday. My melons, they're not ready yet. I wish they were, because I really like honeydew melon, but they're not ready yet. So I can't pick them yet. I do have some more on the vine that are growing. They're maybe about that big, but they're getting bigger and I'm excited. So yeah, I have to wait to harvest those. I know today that we were going to have a guest reader, but unfortunately our guest reader still is not ready. Of course, Miss Andrea is still, dealing with the aftermath of the fire at her house. Maybe on Miss Hope's Reading Hour, I will post her page for GoFundMe. One of her friends who loves her so much made a GoFundMe page, and you all can possibly donate to her. So I was thinking today, sometimes you have a rough week. And we all do. It doesn't matter how old or how young you are. Sometimes you just have a rough week. Okay? Oops, sorry about that, friends. Sometimes you just have a rough week. And sometimes you just need to have a little fun and do something a little funny, something a little silly to make you feel better after having a really challenging time. Isn't it fun when you may be having a bad day and one of your friends comes and they just start joking around or being silly, or like if you're having a bad day and your parent comes and they say, "Oh, what's wrong?" And then they start, messing around with you, joking around, and maybe tickling you or something like that. And it makes you feel all better, makes everything kind of go away. You're like, "Oh, well, I did have kind of a bad day or a bad week, but now I feel kind of better. I got to laugh, I got to joke around, I got to be silly with someone. And so now I feel better than I did before." That happens sometimes. Every time someone does something like that for you, say thanks. And remember that when they may need for you to come around, be a little silly, make them laugh or something like that, make sure you remember that. Okay. Made me think of my friend Miss Andrea, because she does stuff like that all the time. Like, she is good for making you laugh and joke and smile and stuff like that. So every time you come around her, you're always going to feel better once you leave, because she's going to make you smile and laugh and stuff like that. So today, as you saw with the teaser books, we are going to read some kind of silly books before we get to the one that's kind of more serious, which is Belly Up by Mr. Stuart Gibbs. Okay, so our first book, one of our books, so both of these books are a classic. The second one I really had never heard of until, thank you very much, Andrea, I found it in one of the boxes that she donated to Miss Hope's Reading Our Library. So this one is a classic from Dr. Seuss, Fox in Socks. This one is a classic. I actually saw a video on YouTube of a guy rapping this book. It was so good. It was so, so good. Um, uh-oh. One of my lights died. Oh no. Oh my goodness. Oh, come on, light. Oh, that's interesting. This is the kind of stuff that happens when you are on and live. One of my lights died, y'all. So I think I have to move my other light over to make sure that you all can see. See, we've been reading silly books and now silly stuff is happening. Okay. So Fox in Socks by Dr. Seuss. And then we have another Dr. Seuss book. I had never heard of this one before, but forgive me beforehand. I may get a little tongue-tied with this one, okay? Because that's exactly what is supposed to happen with this book that I'm about to show you. It is called Oh Say, Can You Say? Oh, my brothers, oh, my sisters, these are terrible tongue twisters. Oh, Say, Can You Say? By Dr. Seuss. So we will read through this book with these terrible tongue twisters and see if Miss Hope can get through it without sounding absolutely crazy, which is the point of tongue twisters and saying funny, silly things, so that you can sound a little ridiculous and have a laugh. That's what it's for, okay? And last but not least, we have to get back into Belly Up by Stuart Gibbs. Okay, so we have to find out what's going on with Teddy, what's going on with Martin, what's going on with the doctor, and how Tom is finding out whatever's going on. And now JJ McCracken's daughter has showed up. It is true, she is home from boarding school. And Teddy is like, maybe I should tell Mr. McCracken what they think happened to Henry the hippo. But how am I going to get next to him? My only way, possibly, is talking to his daughter. Okay, so that's where we are. All right, now let us get to our first silly book, Fox in Socks by Dr. Seuss. Okay, now as always, we have a little music to go along with the book. Silly music for a silly book. Fox in Socks. Don't laugh at me when I get tongue-tied, okay? Fox, socks, box, knocks. Knocks in box, fox in socks. Knocks on fox, in socks, in box. Socks on knocks and knocks in box. Fox in socks on box, on knocks. Oh boy. Chicks with bricks come. Chicks with blocks come. Chicks with bricks and blocks and clocks come. Look, sir, Mr. Knox, sir. Let's do tricks with bricks and blocks, sir. Let's do tricks with chicks and clocks, sir. I'm already laughing. Oh boy. I am being very careful, you all. First, I'll make quick trick brick stack. First, I'll make a quick trick brick stack. Then I'll make a quick trick block stack. You can make quick trick chick stack. You can make a quick trick clock stack. Can you make all of those things? Oh boy. And here's a new trick, Mr. Knox. Socks on chicks and chicks on fox. Fox on clocks and bricks and blocks. Bricks and blocks on knocks on box. Whew. Now we come to ticks and tocks, sir. Try to say this knock, sir. Clocks on fox tick, clocks on knocks talk. 6 sick bricks tick, 6 sick chicks talk. Oh my goodness. I'm getting tongue-tied already. Please, sir, I don't like this trick, sir. My tongue isn't quick or slick, sir. I get all those ticks and clocks, sir, mixed up with the chicks and tocks, sir. I can't do it, Mr. Fox, sir. I'm so sorry, Mr. Knox, sir. Here's an easy game to play. Here's an easy thing to say. New socks, 2 socks. Whose socks? Sue's socks. Oh my goodness. Who sews whose socks? Sue sews Sue's socks. Who sees whose new socks, sir? You see Sue sew Sue's new socks, sir. That's not easy, Mr. Fox, sir. Oh my goodness. Who comes? Crow comes. Slow Joe Crow comes. Who sews Crow's clothes? Sue sews Crow's clothes. Slow Joe Crow sews whose clothes? Sue's clothes. Sue sews socks of fox in socks now. Slow Joe Crow sews knocks in box now. Oh no, he sewed in box. Oh goodness. Suso's rose on Slow Joe Crow's clothes. Fox sews hose on Slow Joe Crow's nose. Hose goes, rose grows, nose hose goes some, crows rose grows some. Oh man. Mr. Fox, I hate this game, sir. This game makes my tongue quite lame, sir. Mr. Knox, sir, what a shame, sir. We'll find something new to do now. Here is lots of new blue goo now. New goo, blue goo, gooey, gooey, blue goo, new goo, gluey, gluey. Gooey goo for chewing. That's what that goose is doing. Who do you choose to chew goo to, sir? If, sir, you, sir, choose to chew, sir, with the goo goose chew, sir, do, sir. Oh my goodness. Mr. Fox, sir, I won't do it. I can't say it. I won't chew it. Well, very well, sir. Step this way. We'll find another game to play. Bim comes, Ben comes. Bim brings Ben broom. Ben brings Bim broom. Ben bends Brim's broom. Bim bends Ben's broom. Bim's bends, Ben's bends. Ben's bent broom breaks. Bim's bent broom breaks. Oh my goodness. Ben's band, Bim's band. Big bands, pig bands. Bim and Ben lead bands with brooms. Ben's band bangs and Bim's band booms. Oh my goodness. Pig band, boom band, big band, broom band. My poor mouth can't say that, no, sir. My poor mouth is much too slow, sir. Well, then, bring your mouth this way. I'll find something it can say. I don't know about that. We will see. Luke Luck likes lakes. Luke's duck likes lakes. Luke Luck licks lakes. Luke's duck licks lakes. Duck takes licks in lakes. Luke Luck likes. Luke Luck takes licks in lakes. Duck likes. Oh, something he can say, huh? Yeah, okay. I can't blab such blibber blubber. My tongue isn't made of rubber. Mr. Knox, now come now, come now. You don't have to be so dumb now. No fair, sir. I can't say that stuff, then you gonna call me dumb? Come on. Try to say this, Mr. Knox, please. Through 3 cheese trees, 3 free fleas flew. While these fleas flew, breezy breeze blew. Freezy breeze blew. Freezy breeze made these 3 trees freeze. Freezy trees made these trees cheese freeze. That's what made these 3 free fleas sneeze. Oh. Stop it, stop it. That's enough, sir. I can't say such silly stuff, sir. Well then, Mr. Knox, sir, let's have a little talk about Tweedle Beetles. Oh boy, Tweedle Beetles. What do you know about tweedle beetles? Well, when tweedle beetles fight, it's called a tweedle beetle battle. And when they battle in a puddle, it's a tweedle beetle puddle battle. And when tweedle beetles battle with paddles in a puddle, they call it a tweedle beetle puddle paddle battle. And and when beetles battle beetles in a puddle paddle battle, and the beetle battle puddle is a puddle in a bottle, they call this a tweedle beetle bottle puddle paddle battle muddle. And 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 when beetles fight these battles in a bottle with their paddles and the bottles on a poodle, and the poodles eating noodles, they call this a muddle puddle tweedle poodle beetle noodle bottle paddle battle. And 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 now wait a minute, Mr. Socks Fox. Now wait a minute. When a fox is in a bottle where the tweedle beetles battle, and their paddles in a puddle on a noodle eating poodle, this is what they call a tweedle beetle noodle poodle bottled paddled muddled duddled fuddled wuddled fox in socks, sir. Is that what they call it? Okay. Fox and socks, our game is done, sir. Thank you for a lot of fun, sir. It is done, sir. The end. I guess now that he's in the bottle, he's like, I'm done. I'm out of here. I can't say this stuff. The end. Oh boy. So now to the next one. Oh, say, can you say? And my friends, I don't know if I can, but we're sure going to try. We're sure going to try. Oh, say, can you say? By Dr. Seuss. Said a book reading parrot named Hooey. The words in this book are all phooey. When you say them, your lips will make slips and backflips, and your tongue may end up in St. Louis. Oh boy. At least it comes with a warning. All right, this one is called Fresh, Fresher, Freshest. Do you like fresh fish? It's just fine at Finney's Diner. Finney also has some fresher fish that's fresher and much finer. But his best fish is his freshest fish, and Finney says with pride, the finest fish at Finney's is my freshest fish, French fried. So don't order the fresh or the fresher fish at Finney's. If you're wise, you'll say, fetch me the finest French fried freshest fish that Finney fries. Sounds like it could be quite tasty. Din's Shin. We have a dinosaur named Din. Din's thin. Din doesn't have much skin, and the bones fall out on his left front shin. Then we have to call in Pinner Blinn, who comes with his handy shin pin bin, and with a thin Blinn shin bone pin, Blinn pins Din's shin bones right back in. Oh man. Bed spreader, bread spreader. Okay. Bed spreaders spreads on beds. Bread spreaders spread butters on breads. And that bed spreader better watch out how he's spreading, or that bread spreader sure get it going to butter his bedding. Oh no. Don't get the butter on the spread, put the butter on the bread. I rhymed. Did one of my own. Apes cakes, grape cakes. As he gobbled the cakes on his plate, the greedy ape said as he ate, the greener green grapes are, the keener keen apes are. To gobble green grape cakes, they're great. Are you having trouble in saying this stuff? It's really quite easy for me. I just look in my mirror and see what I say, and then I just say what I see. I think the parrot is making fun of me. He's asking me, you having problems? I don't have problems with this stuff. You have the problems. Now let's talk about money. You should leave your grunts home when you travel by air. If you take him along, they charge you double fare. And your gronks must be packed and locked up in a gronks box, which costs much, much more than a little old fox box. So it heaps a lot cheaper to fly with your foxes than waste all that money on boxes for gronkses. And what do you think costs more, a simple thimble or a single shingle? A simple thimble could cost less than a single shingle would, I guess. So I think that the single shingle should cost more than the simple thimble would. Whew. Oh, say, can you say? Oh, say, can you say? Eat at Skipper Zips. If you like to eat potato chips and chew pork chops on clipper ships, I suggest that you chew a few chips and a chop at Skipper Zip's clipper ship chip chop shop. And if your tongue is getting queasy, don't give up. The next one's easy. Yeah, right. I'll believe it when I see it. I'll believe it when I see it. There are so many things that you really should know and that's why I'm bothering telling you so. You should know that the first names of the Fuddernutter brothers, who like to pile each other on the heads of the others. If you start at the top, there are Bipper and Bud and Skipper and Jipper and Jeffrey and Judd, Horatio, Horace and Hendrix and Hud, and then come Dinwoogie and Dinty and Dud, also Fitzsimmons and Frederick and Fudd, and Slinky and Stinky and Stewart and Stud. And down at the bottom is poor little Lud. But if Lud ever sneezes, his name will be Mud. Okay, I'll give it to the little bird. That one was a tiny bit easier. Quack, quack. We have two ducks, one blue, one black. And when our blue duck goes quack quack, our black duck quickly quack quacks back. The quack's blue quacks make her quite a quacker, but black is a quicker quacker backer. And speaking of quacks, reminds me of cracks and stacks and sacks and shacks and schnacks. So, oh, say, can you say, I have cracks in my shack, I have smoke in my stack, and I think there's a schnack in the sack on my back. A schnack. Oh my goodness. West beast, east beast. Upon an island hard to reach, the east beast sits upon his beach. Upon the west beach sits the west beast. Each beach beast thinks he's the best beast. Which beast is best? Well, I thought at first that the east was best and the west was worse. And then I looked again from the west to the east, and I liked the beast on the east beach least. Okay, what is coming next? Pete Pat's pigs. Pete brags Pat's Pete Briggs Pat's pigs. Briggs Pat's pink pigs. Briggs Pat's big pigs. Don't ask me why, it doesn't matter. Pete Briggs is a pink pig, big pig patter. Pete Briggs pats his big pink pigs all day. Don't ask me why, I cannot say. Then Pete puts his patted pigs away in his Pete Briggs pink pigs, big pigs, pig pen. Don't ask me why. Oh my goodness. Fritz food. Fritz needs Fred and Fred needs Fritz. Fritz feeds Fred and Fred feeds Fritz. Fred feeds Fritz with ritzy Fred food. Fritz feeds Freds with ritzy Fritz food. And Fritz, when fed, has often said, I'm Fred fed Fritz. Fred's a Fritz fed Fred. See, they get their snacks from each other. How to tell a clocks from a glocks. Well, the glocks, you will notice, has lots of black spots. The clocks is quite different with lots of black dots. But the big problem is that the spots on the glocks are about the same as the dots on the clocks. So you first have to spot who the one with the dots is. Then it's easy to tell who the clocks or the glocks is. Can you tell which one is which? You know, I can't. What would you rather be when you grow up? A cop in a cop's cap, or a cupcake cook in a cupcake cook's cap, or a fat flapjack flapper in a flat flapjack cap? Or if you think you don't like cops' caps, flapjack flappers, or cupcake cooks' caps, maybe you're one of those choosy chaps who like kooky captain's caps, perhaps. More about Blinn. We're back to them. Well, when Blim comes home tired from his work pinning shins, the happiest hour of old Blim's day begins. Mr. Blim is the father of musical twins, who tucking twins' instruments under their two chins, lull their daddy to sleep with 10 Blim violins. And oh, say, can you say, far away in Berlin, a musical urchin named Gretchen von Schwinn had a blue-footed, true-footed, trick-fingered, slick-fingered, six-fingered, six-string, 10-Schwinn mandolin. Oh, could have played with the twins. Oh, man. Rope soap, hoop soap. If you hope to wash soup off of a rope, simply scrub it with scrope. Scrope is so strong that no rope is too long. But if you should wish to wash soap off a hoop, I suggest that it is best that you let your whole silly souped up hoop soak in Soapy Cooper's super soap soup. Soapy Cooper super soup off hoops soak suds. That one got me good. That one got me good. Merry Christmas mush. One year we had a Christmas brunch with Merry Christmas mush to munch, and I don't think you'd care for such. We didn't like to munch mush much. I don't think anyone would like to eat anything called mush. I don't think so. I don't think so. And speaking of Christmas, here are some great gifts to give your daddy. If your daddy's name is Jim, and if Jim swims, and if Jim's slim, the perfect Christmas gift for him is a set of Slim Jim's swim fins. But if your daddy's name is Dwight and he likes to look at birds at night, the gift for Dwight that might be right is a bright Dwight bird flight night sight light. I think you might just want to tell them you bought them a light. And that's it. But never give your daddy a walrus. A walrus with whiskers is not a good pet, and a walrus which whispers is worse even yet. When a walrus whispers through tough, rough, wet whiskers, your poor daddy's ears will get blisters and bliskers. And that's almost enough of such stuff for one day. One more and you're finished. Oh, say, can you say? Huh, we got one more. The storm starts when the drops start dropping. When the drops stop dropping, then the storm starts stopping. And now we can stop. The end. Okay. Whew. I hope that you enjoyed those tongue twisters of Fox in Socks and Oh Say, Can You Say? These are two fun books that if you want to get them and read them for your young ones or young ones you want to read for your parents, do buy those books because they are hilarious, as you saw me laughing it up. All right, now, my friends, let me work out my mouth to get to reading Belly Up. So as I said, Summer, Mr. J.J. McCracken's daughter, is home from boarding school. Was she the one who was in Teddy's yard? Is that the footprint that he found? Will she be able to help him get close to her father so that he can tell him, we think something bad happened to Henry the Hippo? Let us start reading and find out, okay? All right. So, to look like another eager fan, I grabbed a piece of paper from a nearby trash bin. It was a discarded napkin with a smear of ketchup on it, but most of the autograph hounds were asking Summer to sign things that were equally unsanitary. As Summer passed, I plunged into the crowd around her. It was a free-for-all inside. Unlike with the Henry Hippo actors, there was no official line set up for people to calmly stand to meet Summer. Instead, everyone pushed and shoved, gouging each other with shoulders and elbows, jostling for position. I was jounced left and right, smashed forward, then bounced back. An 8-year-old girl was nearly trampled beside me. It was already a hot day, surrounded by a crush of people. It was stifling. I spotted a sliver of light between two incredibly fat women. I scrambled for it, but was only halfway through when the women slammed together, crushing me between them. But for a moment, I thought I might suffocate in their flab. In desperation, I booted one in the ankle. She yelped and pulled away, allowing me to stumble free. And suddenly, I found myself in a small, open pocket of fresh air, face to face with Summer McCracken herself. She was taller than I expected, a few inches more than me. Her blonde hair hung to her shoulders, and she wore a pink blouse, shorts, and sandals. But what really grabbed my attention were her eyes. They were an amazingly bright blue, like the wings of a morpho butterfly. The pictures of her never did them justice. Summer looked at me, but didn't really appear to see me. She just dutifully reached for my napkin to sign it. I started to say something, but then froze. For some reason, I was intimidated. Even at the time, I knew it was ridiculous. It wasn't like she was anyone important, like her father was president or something. She was only a girl, only a year older than me, and yet I simply stared at her like a dork. For a moment, all the noise seemed to drain from the world. All I could think about were her eyes. It took me a moment to realize she said something to me. What? I stammered. Do you want me to sign that? Summer repeated, nodding to my napkin. I looked down and realized that instead of letting her have it, I'd kept it clutched in my hand. The noise of the crowd suddenly came rushing back. Mostly, it seemed to be people shouting at me to hurry up with Summer so they could have a turn. So I quickly blurted out what I had to say. I need to talk to your father. Summer looked at me curiously. You and everyone else, she said. This is really important. Let me guess. You want a loan. The crowd burst into laughter. My face grew warm as blood rushed to it. I felt like an idiot and wanted to slip back into the crowd and disappear, but a sudden surge from the rear shoved me forward into Summer herself. Instantly, the bodyguards were on me. They didn't think I was a threat. They were only giving Summer her space. Hands the size of baseball gloves grabbed my shoulders, steadying me and moving me back. For a second, though, I was close enough to whisper to Summer. Before I even knew what I was doing, I told her, Henry Hippo was murdered. She stared at me a moment, surprised, her blue eyes boring into mine. And then she shook her head in amusement. Suddenly, it occurred to me that Summer was probably approached by crazy people all the time, and that I'd just been lumped in with the rest of the weirdos. Before I even had a chance to explain, the crowd swallowed me up again. 2 seconds later, I was spit back out, left behind, clutching my napkin while Summer and her groupies continued on. I'd never felt so stupid in my life. I'd behaved like a total freak in front of Summer McCracken. The only good thing about it was that she'd probably forgotten me the very next moment. At least, I hoped she would. It was preferable to her remembering me and avoiding me from then on. Annoyed at myself, I resumed my watch over the guards at Hippo River. Large Marge had come on shift, so I selected a bench out of her line of sight and spied on her through the vines of a bougainvillea plant. She took her patrol very seriously, giving the stink eye to any guest who so much as loitered in front of the barricades for too long. It occurred to me that the need for so much security was suspicious. After all, what was the problem with letting guests see Henry's empty enclosure? It wasn't as if Fun Jungle was hiding the fact that the hippo had died. If anything, They were making it a huge deal. Numerous press issues had been released. Commemorative Henry t shirts were already being sold. Pete Thwacker was even arranging a public funeral. The memorial was to take place in a few days. Martin had wanted it sooner, as Henry's corpse was still sitting on the Henry and Powell stage, slowly rotting. There wasn't a freezer big enough to hold the body anywhere on the property. But J.J. McCracken had decreed that his hippo be sent off with honor and dignity, as well as an event that would get a huge amount of free media coverage for Fun Jungle. This all took time to plan properly. Guests had to be invited. The grave had to be dug. An extra large coffin had to be built. In the meantime, hundreds of bags of ice had been packed around Henry's body to slow its decay. The theater's air conditioning had been turned up as high as it would go, and the building was sealed shut. Even if the giant corpse hadn't been on their stage, the Henry and Powell's review would have been shuttered for a few days out of respect for the dead. I'd heard rumors that Henry was being excised from the show altogether, and that it would soon be rechristened the Fun Jungle Friends Musical Spectacular. The point being, if it wasn't a secret that Henry was dead, why was his enclosure so tightly protected? I found myself wondering who'd even posted the guards in the first place. Martin? Pete? JJ himself? What if the whole reason for them wasn't to discourage the random Henry fan from getting into the deceased hippo's enclosure, but to prevent someone like me from investigating? What if there was something inside there they wanted to hide? What if... Who killed him? A voice asked, so close to my ear I jumped. I spun around and once again found myself staring into the blue eyes of Summer McCracken. She was tucked back in the landscaping, crouched behind the bench, almost as if she was hiding behind it. It had only been a few minutes since my embarrassing encounter with her, but somehow she'd already changed clothes. She still had the trademark pink shorts on, but she now wore a Fun Jungle t-shirt over her blouse and had her hair tucked up into a baseball cap. The change was so startling, I would have assumed it wasn't even her except for her eyes. I couldn't collect my thoughts. I sputtered, I don't know. Summer frowned. Then how do you know he was murdered? I snuck into the autopsy. Summer's eyes lit up, getting even brighter than they had been before. But before she could respond, she noticed something behind me. I turned around to see her bodyguards hurrying in our direction, trying to act like they weren't worried, but obviously worried, looking for her. Summer ducked farther into the landscaping. Meet me behind the Gorilla Grill in 15 minutes, she said, then vanished with a rustle of leaves. The bodyguards thundered past, not seeing her, and then I was alone on the bench again, feeling strangely excited. It looked like I might have found someone willing to believe me after all. Chapter 6, Diving In. It turned out Summer McCracken had thought I was a freak, but that turned out to be a good thing. Right after I'd been sucked back into the crowd, Summer had asked her bodyguards, who was that nutball? They told her. They know who I am? I asked, surprised. Summer nodded. It's their job. Daddy insists they know everyone at the park for my protection. But there must be at least 2,000 employees here. Well, they don't know everyone, of course. They try to. And you're not too hard to remember because you're the only kid. Plus, they say you've caused some trouble here. I froze, worried. Not really. You didn't arm the chimpanzees with water balloons yesterday? How'd they know that? They get debriefed by park security, Summer said. Apparently, you also taught the sea lions to make rude noises during their show. The show needed some comedy. Even the trainers thought it was funny and started a rumor that the hot dogs were made of whatever animals died recently. That was an accident. I was joking and someone believed me. Whatever. Point is, my shadows told me to steer clear of you, which is why I'm here. We were seated on a small patch of grass behind the Gorilla Grill, not far from the restaurant's dumpsters. It wasn't very scenic, but I had to admit it was a good place to avoid being seen. In all the months I'd been roaming around Fun Jungle, including dozens of meals at Gorilla Grill, I'd never known this little spot of grass existed. I arrived a couple of minutes before Summer, long enough to start worrying that she'd played a joke on me, pegging me as an innocent rube and sending me to stand among a bunch of garbage dumpsters just because she knew I'd do it. But then she wandered around the corner, smiling brightly, and asked if I was hungry. I was. As a 12-year-old boy, I'm almost always hungry. So Summer had slapped some cash in my hand and told me to go get some burgers, fries, and cokes. She couldn't do it, she said, because people would recognize her. I tried to protest. It didn't seem right to let a girl buy me lunch, but Summer had waved this off, laughing, and said, "Trust me, I can afford it." So that's how we ended up having a picnic by the dumpsters. Summer explaining to me how she ditched her bodyguards. I do it all the time, she said. Daddy says they're for my safety, but honestly, how much more conspicuous could they be? Each is like the size of a house. The moment anyone sees them, they know I'm here. And then I have to spend my whole day signing autographs when all I really want to do is see the animals. Fortunately, they're not too hard for me to shake because they're guys. Dad's still living 30 years ago. He doesn't think women can protect me. So all I have to do is say, I've got to go to the bathroom. And then what? Sneak out the window? Please, have you ever seen a public bathroom with a window? No. I just asked some girl if I could buy her hat and shirt off her. She was so thrilled, she practically let me have them for free. Then I put them on and walked right out the door. That's why I wear pink all the time. When I change clothes, my shadows never realize it's me right away. This time, they didn't even recognize me till I started running. And by then, they didn't stand a chance. Those guys might be big, but they're not fast. They're probably having a cow right now, thinking they're going to get fired when daddy finds out I got away again. Do you do this a lot? I mix it up. If I do it too often, they'll put me under lockdown at home. So I play the good girl for a couple of weeks, let them think I've reformed, and then once they drop their guard, I bolt. Think they've called your dad? Not today. Daddy's in India on business. It's the middle of the night there, and the last thing anyone wants to do is wake daddy to tell them they screwed up. Besides, they know I'll come back. I always do. So give me the scoop on the dead hippo. I always caught I was caught off guard for a moment. Summer had been almost nonstop since we'd sat down to eat, barely letting me get a word in, telling me what she knew about me. rather than asking questions about me. At first, I'd assumed this was because she was conceited and liked to hear herself talk. But I was starting to think that maybe she didn't get to have normal conversations very often. Summer got interviewed by reporters a lot, but her bodyguard seemed to keep the rest of the world at arm's length. And now, suddenly, she was looking at me expectantly, waiting for me to talk. Okay, we're going to end it there. We are going to end it there. Okay, so we find out a little bit more about Miss Summer McCracken. And I'm going to tell you honestly, okay, if I had not looked up at the timer, I was already getting lost in the story, okay? Because he actually got her attention. I did not think it was going to happen that quickly. I thought he'd have to do a few other things to get to Miss Summer McCracken, but he did not. Come to find out, her bodyguards, aka shadows, know who almost everybody is at the park, okay? And so they knew who he was. And I would find it interesting myself if someone said someone murdered a hippo, okay? Even if that person might be a little crazy, I might have to find out who they are and what they know, which is why she asked her bodyguards. And she's a little escape artist, isn't she? She can slip off from them all the time. So now she tells him about how she gives her shadows the slip, how she knows who he is, how the guards may be really afraid because they might get fired. Her dad is nowhere around. And now Summer wants to know, what do you know, Teddy Fitzroy? So that is where we are ending now. We are at the end of another Miss Hope's Reading Hour and Miss Hope's Reading Hour week. Can you believe it? Okay. So I am so glad I got to be here with you all. Hopefully, if you had any kind of troubles this week, those tongue twisters in Fox and Socks and Oh Say Can You Say by Dr. Seuss put a smile on your face. Okay? And if you want those books, tell your parents, here, let's take a look at them so you see what they look like. Fox on Socks has a red fox with blue socks. Oh Say Can You Say has a green parrot with a yellow beak. Okay? Holding a book so you can tell your parents. Okay? Parents, you want to make your kids laugh or keep it a secret? You want to read the book and have a little laugh yourself? Go ahead and buy it. Okay? So until next time, I am so glad I was able to be here with you on a fabulous, fun, silly FRI-YAY. And I will see you back here on Miss Hope's Reading Hour on a marvelous Monday. Until then, have a great weekend. I know it might be a little rainy, but guess what? If it gets rainy, you know what you can do. You can curl up with a good book while you are inside, read with your family, read with your friends, or read for enjoyment by yourself. Okay? Have a great weekend. Be safe. If you go out, remember proper social distancing and wearing a mask. And I will see you right back here on a marvelous Monday on Miss Hope's Reading Hour at 3 o'clock. Okay? Until then, have a great weekend. See you next time. Bye.